abusuya micho na misanso emu akwa baso nkoso emfa wo emre channel so hada so ye be media judge abusuya eye Kofi Apalo yes ena ya de ya Attorney General Dominic Anyini edin sembi ede abetu jade fa papa ho a chese the man is involved in a fraud bi a chese akoso ewe Cocobod 3.16 million na enya asem ko abusuya we dey ma mekasa opese ekone kwoti ensem no mankasa nkyere mu yes ensem Attorney General chese ode abetu jo kira chese force a document bi and force forgery bi akoso eno na ma sa asika twitwide we abusuya etumi ekodi eye Kofi Apalo nsem e Cocobod abusuya we dey ma mekasa wan pese connect ensem no mu akasa enkyere mu yebese wa so be subscribe e dey ama ebobo notification bell no so for more podcast update abusuya eha eda so aye be media gh me first akonya we so e ma wo eye official pa yes me ma wo official pa abusuya yenti ensem no akasa enkyere ma say
charges in court. Ladies and gentlemen, in the case involving Mr. Kofi Apalo of the Liberal Party of Ghana, the Financial Intelligence Center flagged and filed a suspicious transaction report with First Bank Ghana Limited regarding transactions on an account belonging to Poma Universal Ghana Limited. That is a company owned by the said Kofi Apalo. Following the STR, that is a suspicious transaction report by the FIC, the Economic and Organized Crime began an investigation into the matter. The investigations revealed that Poma Universal Ghana Limited, a business entity owned entirely by a lady called Ekua Poma, was a legitimate contractor that was awarded a feeder roads contract by Cocobod. The contract, which was valued at 29.5 million Ghana cedis, was awarded in December 2020. Although the project commenced and an initial amount was properly deposited into Poma Universal Ghana Limited, subsequent payments raised serious concerns regarding misrepresentation, forgery, and unauthorized handling of the checks. Our investigations revealed that Apalo secretly incorporated another company, separate and distinct from Poma Universal Ghana Limited, also known as Poma Universal Ghana Limited, but deliberately added H to the Poma. So Poma is P-O-M-A-A, all right, Ghana Limited, which is a company which is owned by Ekua Poma. What the company that he incorporated added H to the Poma, so it became, I don't know how to pronounce it, but the same Poma, Poma Ghana Limited, Universal Ghana Limited. But the difference was just the H at the end of Poma. And so after having done this, between December 2022 and June 2024, Apalo collected 8 checks issued by Cocobod in the name of Poma Universal, totaling 3.1 million, that is 3,169,432 Ghana cedis and 22 pesos, and deposited them into the account of his own company, that is also Poma Ghana Limited with an H at First Bank Ghana Limited. Again, our investigations confirmed that Ekua Poma thereby finalizing the extradition request packages. Subsequently, on December 10, 2025, my office transmitted the complete request to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for onward transmission to the competent authorities in the United States of America. That is, in this case, the Department of Justice of the United States. At this point, it is left to the American authorities, especially the judicial authorities, to make a determination on whether a sufficient basis exists for the 2 accused persons to be extradited to Ghana to stand trial. And because the matters have already been filed, and because they have been filed by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I am not permitted to go into the details of the charges. But the charge sheet is a public document and has been made available, and all of you, I'm sure, have access to it. There are 78 charges against Honorable Ken Oforiatta and his accomplices, and they border on causing financial loss to the state, using public office for private benefit, and so on and so forth. So you can look at the charge sheet and then make up your minds with respect to the charges. So I won't comment on them in today's press conference. Basically, what I want Ghanaians to know is that this government is committed to accountability. And the government has taken the requisite steps that are legally required for the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta and NS Darko Akore to be extradited to Ghana, to be brought to Ghana to face justice. As I indicated earlier, it is now left to the judicial authorities in the United States to assess the entire package that we have presented to find out whether there is sufficient basis for him to be extradited. But as I mentioned earlier, the major announcement that I have this morning is in relation to an investigation conducted by the Economic and Organized Crime, which led to a very big recovery of proceeds of crime. As you are all aware, the Economic and Organized Crime Office is one of the key law enforcement agencies that works directly under the Office of the Attorney General. Since assuming office as the Attorney General, I have worked closely with the Executive Director of the office, that is EOCO, Mr. Raymond Archer, and the management and staff of the EOCO to ensure that the fight against economic and organized criminal enterprises is sustained. The investigation I'm about to announce and the results of that investigation demonstrate the commitment of the Economic and Organized Crime Office to the fight against organized criminal enterprises. The investigation, which by the way is still ongoing, was complex and at the same time groundbreaking. In or around 2019, a criminal network comprising mostly of Chinese and Malaysians targeted both Ghanaian and British citizens using e-commerce websites and online fraudulent investment schemes. The gang established a Ghanaian company in 2019 to front their criminal enterprise. According to official records obtained by the Economic and Organized Crime Office, the company's principal business was described as general trading and online trading and marketing. This is how the criminal enterprise worked. The victims were permitted to purchase products online from the company's e-commerce website by paying a registration fee. Once the victims signed on, they were encouraged to purchase investment packages, which range from 770 Ghana cedis to 9,240 Ghana cedis. The criminals developed attractive flyers to promote fraudulent investment and categorize the investment into classes. So they had VIP 1, VIP 2, VIP 3, VIP 4 to VIP 5, and depending on the package, the price would enhance or increase. Victims were informed that they would make fantastic earnings by operating trading accounts as well as owning an online shop and trading in the company's goods on its online platform. Typical of most Ponzi schemes, victims were encouraged to embark on recruiting other victims through networking and referral systems. These investment packages could also be purchased via virtual currencies. The payments to the company in Ghana were either made by mobile money, cash, or via a crypto wallet. The criminals produced a how-to video demonstrating how to make payment using virtual currency. This video greatly assisted the Economic and Organized Crime Office in tracing the crypto wallet, which was used to receive the money and launder the proceeds of the criminal enterprise. Using very sophisticated tools such as chain analysis reactor, a software used to analyze cryptocurrency transactions on a blockchain, the EOCO identified the transfer of funds into the cryptocurrency wallet linked to the criminal enterprise. EOCO investigators established that the crypto wallets of the company were held on a crypto exchange platform called OKX, which was located offshore Seychelles. As it turned out, OKX's own internal investigation suggested that the criminal cluster, which EOCO was pursuing, had been found to be fraudulent. The suspicion of fraud stemmed from the fact that over 1,000 transactions from this cluster originated from a particular computer IP address and from a particular location, suggesting the transactions must have been done by an individual. EOCO obtained KYC, which is Know Your Customer information from OKX, who showed that the owner of the crypto wallet, a Chinese national who worked in Ghana under a residence permit and also worked for the company which was used to defraud several Ghanaians and British citizens. This Chinese individual was also named by Ghanaian victims as a person who directly received funds from them in respect of the fraudulent investment scheme. Having connected the dots, EOCO managed to freeze the tainted wallets and serve the freezing order on OKX. The office also worked with OKX to notify the holders of the wallets. Realizing that the wallets have been frozen, the suspects sent emissaries to inquire why their wallets had been frozen. EOCO informed the suspects about the reasons for freezing the wallets and invited them to come to Ghana for further investigation. In the course of the investigation, the company which was used to defraud Ghanaians and British victims was closed down and its operations disappeared into thin air. Faced with a daunting task, he formally transmitted the request for the extradition of former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and his chef de cabinet, Mr. Ernest Dako Akore. You will recall that the Office of the Special Prosecutor investigated acts of corruption and corruption-related offenses by the former Finance Minister and his accomplices, and proceeded to file charges in the High Court of Justice against them. On November 19th, 2025, that is this year, my office received a formal request from the Office of the Special Prosecutor to initiate extradition proceedings for Kenneth Ofori-Atta and Ernest Dako Akore from the United States of America. Following a preliminary review, our International Cooperation Unit observed that certain aspects of the request require clarification and enhancements to align with the applicable legal and procedural requirements. We communicated these observations to the Office of the Special Prosecutor via a letter dated 25th November 2025 and requested supplementary documentation to ensure completeness. On December 9th, 2025, the Office of the Special Prosecutor provided the requested additional documentation and addressed the observations that we raised. Even though, with respect to that offense, we don't need to show that you have in any way benefited from the transaction that either intentionally or recklessly caused financial loss to the state. We will begin the process of surcharging all public officers who have caused financial loss to the state. So, in addition to the criminal charges which will be filed, we will ask the Auditor General to disallow and surcharge the sums of money lost to the state on the public officers. Now, note, ladies and gentlemen of the media, I do not need to prove your guilt in a criminal matter, all right, in order to be able to succeed in the surcharge and disallowance, because that is a civil matter. It's proved on the basis on the balance of probabilities. So if you in any way recklessly or negligently cause financial loss to the state, all right, the surcharge and disallowance will be the mechanism that will use to recover to all public officers who are especially spending, and so we will get the exact figure of the amount that is involved in this, criminal enterprise from the Exim Bank before we file charges in court. Ladies and gentlemen, in the case involving Mr. Percival Akpaloo of the Liberal Party of Ghana, the Financial Intelligence Center flagged and filed a suspicious transaction report with First Bank Ghana Limited regarding transactions on an account belonging to Poma Universal Ghana Limited. That is a company owned by the said Kofi Apalo. Following the STR, that is a suspicious transaction report by the FIC, the Economic and Organized Crime was unaware of both the existence of the Poma Ghana Limited, that is the second company, and the diversion of the funds until Cocobod contacted her in June 2024 regarding outstanding balances on the contract. She subsequently discovered that Apaloo had collected and misdirected the payments without her consent. Apalo also alleged that Apaloo forged her signature on the Cocobod contract using her former name, Mercy Owusu, to secure the agreement without her authorization. First Bank Ghana Limited conducted an internal investigations and corroborated the fraud allegations that we have made, concluding that Apaloo knowingly misrepresented ownership of the checks and deposited them into the wrong account. The bank acknowledged operational failures in detecting the discrepancies between the check payee names and the account numbers. The suspects who have been investigated are Percival Kofi Apalo, Poma Ghana Limited, the Poma with the H, and Delvin Apalo, his wife. That is the spouse of Kofi Apalo. It's fast becoming fashionable to commit crimes with a company owned by financial loss to the state in the sum of 24,255,735 Ghana cedis. This figure represents the principal sum plus the interest that has accrued so far. And ladies and gentlemen, by the time we file charges, which will be definitely after the Christmas break when we resume work, it might be that this figure would have increased because the interest on the principal keeps compounding. And so we will get the exact figure of the amount that is involved in this criminal enterprise from the Exim Bank before we file